Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe and Brianna. We're over at Hillcrest Park right now, and we're taking a look at the stairs that the city just had put in. They spent a couple $1 million on this job, and I wanted to kind of focus on what's going on here. Because if you and I built a structure like this, we couldn't get it past city code inspection or code enforcement or the building inspectors. I just want you to look at the construction here. This stuff's already cracked. None of it's centered. None of it's centered. Every single one of these casings is off-center, and they're all cracking. Now this thing's only been here for a couple of months. Look at this. Now, every single one of these things is off-center. What kind of engineering work is this? What kind of concrete did they use? What kind of work is this? Look at this. How long do you think this is going to last? This has been here for just a few months, and look at it already. Every one of these things is off-center and cracking. Look at this. Every one of them. They're all cracking. They're all off-center. Look at this. What in the world kind of work is this? Seriously? Okay, I think I found one that is centered, believe it or not. Here it is. See, this is what it's all supposed to look like. See how it's in the middle? Problem is, it's already cracked. Look at this.
Why are you looking for me? Because I did this time.
Look at this one. Totally crooked, totally sideways, and cracked. So we're at the bottom. Let's go up the other side. Look at this one. These people know how to measure? What are these, third graders that put this together? Look at this work. Look at this. What kind of engineering is this? Look at this. It's already shifting. Or it wasn't put in properly. What kind of concrete did they use for all these things to have already cracked and have had to be redone? Unbelievable. And our roads are even worse than this. Every single one off center. Well, maybe they got one right. Is this some sort of a joke? Seriously? Is this a joke? You know, they're all like this. Every single one of them. Right. What's the point of even putting concrete down if it's just going to crack?
I can't believe how difficult this was.
Every single one of these is cracked. Every one of them. Cracked and off center. Every one.
already going down. $6.80. $680.
Look at this. Every single one of them is off. Cracks, every one of them. Off center, every single one of them. Millions of dollars for this. What kind of concrete is this? Look at the separation already. This is the only one I think that was centered, and it's not cracked. But still. Every single one of these. It's not right. Unbelievable. This. This is just one set of stairs. And it's the same on all the rest of them. Now, this is on the heels of the city of Fullerton killing all the trees because they shut the water off. Remember we had that drought? They chose to kill this park. This park's been here for 100 years. Look at the trees. These have been replanted on this side. At tremendous expense, I might add. So, when we have a city council that is trying to run the clock on a construction defect lawsuit intentionally, that's criminal. This is just one set of the stairs. Nothing like a little graffiti. Make things look better. Of course, these stairs have been utilized by the people. They need it. It's been needed for a long time. I didn't even go all the way down. It's a complete disaster. Let's come over here and look at this other set. It's a great view from up here. This brings up another interesting point. Why is there such a push for office space when the Fullerton Towers can't even fill themselves up? They're always empty and vacant. Here's the second staircase. Look at these. Every one of them's off. Off center. Not so many cracks on this side. Let's have a look over here. This is the southernmost portion of the project. Way off center. Way off center. Way off center. Off center. Off center. Now this is an interesting part over here because it looks like they've chosen to bury these, or they didn't do enough on the hillside to keep the mud flow down. Everything's off center. Every single one. That one's buried. This one's centered, but the concrete's kind of going away. And by the looks of that, so is the lumber. I don't know whether that's from stress or just a bad piece, or it's from shear. Look at this. Guess our neighbors are happy with this project too. So, honestly, what kind of joke is this? Because this is not funny. And more evidence of all these trees they killed. During the drought, they shut the water off. You see these cheap PVC pipes? That's all they had to do is hook up soakers. Millions of dollars in the Parks and Rec budget. You think they could have used some of that water that they wasted on Laguna Lake? You know, the lake kept leaking. They hid it from everybody and made you pay for it with the pass-through rates on your water bill. 70,000 gallons a day during the drought. Every one of these off-center. Ladies and gentlemen, Fullerton City government is run by criminals. They take your money, spend it on whatever they want, lie through their teeth when they're confronted, and ignore every bit of credible evidence they're presented with, even during the public record. The corruption in this city is not limited to this kind of botch job, construction jobs. It's a very broad spectrum of malfeasance. But one has to wonder if they're this brazen with sloppy work, what are the limits to the things people can't see? This is what's left of where a lot of mature trees once were. As you can see, they're all dead. This place was lined with all kinds of beautiful trees until they decided to play this game with the taxpayers, go along with the edicts from Sacramento, shutting off the water to this park and killing it. But that's okay, because their goal is more high-density housing, more cell towers, more Agenda 21 for the residents. Because they don't care about you and I. All they care about are getting their buddies deals, contracts, and getting reelected. Bruce Whitaker is running for state senate, ladies and gentlemen. He's been confronted with this shoddy workmanship. What has he done? Nothing. Nothing at all. Jennifer Fitzgerald has been confronted with this shoddy workmanship. What has she done? Nothing at all. What has Jesus Silva done? Well, I don't think Jesus Silva even understands half the things that are put in front of him while he's on the council. I personally, in my opinion, believe he doesn't even have the mental capacity to understand half of the things he's voting on, as evidenced by his behavior and his statements in the meeting, so we can't count on him for much of anything. The only reason Jesus Silva got elected was because of his last name in the last election. Nothing to do with the content of his character or his ability to lead or his grasp of the issues. How about Doug Chafee? Doug Chafee's a political hack. He's been put there by the unions. And he's not going to run again, so he's going to put his wife in. That's his plan. Greg Seaborn. Greg Seaborn was asked about this, what to do. He was told what to do. He actually acted as if he cared. It was just a big joke to him. None of the council members have done anything about this horrible construction and this total blatant fraud and theft of taxpayer money on all this substandard workmanship here. All these dead trees, all this wasted money. Ladies and gentlemen, Bruce Whitaker wants to be your next state senator, and he claims he wants to fight corruption. Well, look, we've got a complete, total lawsuit on our hands here, and they won't touch it. They won't fire the public works director that oversaw this. They won't fire the building inspectors that signed off on this stuff. They won't do anything about this. They want you to go away and just walk up and down these stairs and not notice what's underneath them. Because by the time they're out of office, it'll cost another couple $1 million to redo this jalopy. They don't care about that either because it's not their money. All they care about is putting their name on a plaque near one of these entrances so they can be remembered for something that supposedly they did that was good for the community. When in fact it's just the opposite, folks. This city has 200 miles of roads that are falling apart, traffic signals that are 30 and 40 years old that are not synchronized, and it's being overdeveloped to the hilt. Now, Bruce Whitaker wants to be your next state senator. Why would you allow somebody to represent you in the state capitol when they can't even represent their own people at the community level? What kind of representative would he be if he can't come out here and look with his own eyes at the engineering of this hunk of junk? We're not one, not two, but three, not four, but every single one of the support structures is off center. How is this acceptable for a municipal project? How is it acceptable for someone like that to want to be your next state senator? Now, let's talk about Jennifer Fitzgerald. She was supported and mentored by Shawn Nelson. He's running for Congress. What kind of leadership would ignore such a cut and dry case of construction defect, where it's so patently obvious? How do you ignore this? And how can we expect to elect someone to our Congress that supports and mentors someone on the council who ignores all this crooked crap? All this crooked crap like you're looking at right now. This is crooked crap, folks. The construction company that did this job for the city needs to be sued. They need to go to court and they need to redo this whole thing. Because based on what I see here, it's going to need to be done again. And guess who has to pay? Ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to understand something. You need to open your eyes, and people need to be held accountable for stealing from us, the taxpayers. I aim to do that. That is why, on the heels of Ed Royce, the worthless political hack that has decided to hang his hat and bail out I'm going after his seat. Because the leadership he's bestowed on this community has left this community in ruin. And is nothing but crookedness run amok. It's a rampant epidemic, folks. I've had enough, and I hope you have too. Can you imagine the potential that this community has if it was run by the right people? Can you imagine the potential this community has if the county was run by the right people? Can you imagine the potential this community has if the state was run properly? It's being mismanaged all around, folks, and it's time you hold these people accountable. This is Joe Briano from the FullertonInformer.com, signing off for now. Thank you for your patronage and your attention to this matter.